Hey guys, today it's time for another Bearded Wonder Explains. This time we're going to talk about gold rush economics. You might wonder why we're talking about economics. After all, this is the human movement uh, unit. And the reason why is because oftentimes economics is connected to those push and pull factors. As a matter of fact, in a lot of ways, the number one reason why people move is connected to economic motivations. They're trying to get a better place, they're trying to get more opportunities, something else like that. And so it's usually helpful to understand economics. That's also why we did our economics unit before our migration unit. So, what is the kind of economic or whatever reality for the gold rush? Real quick, just summary: gold is found in California. You can dig it up, but who cares? I mean, after all, it's just yellow metal, right? Like, so even though, we're like, why do you want gold? Well, duh, it's gold. Yeah, but why? Because it's gold. Um, but it's just yellow metal you dig up from the ground, right? So why is gold valuable? We need to answer that question if we're going to kind of understand the gold rush and sort of why so many people wanted to get on boats and head out to California. After all, it's just yellow metal from the dirt, right? Um, so let's just jump right into it. Basically, to understand how money works, which everybody kind of wants to get, there's a reason for that. And the reason is because people want it. In other words, money is not valuable because it's just like useful. As a matter of fact, it's about the opposite of useful. And even gold is only semi-useful. You can make jewelry out of it, and that looks nice or whatever. And you can also use it in microchips and processors and other things like that. It's a pretty good conductor of electricity, although at the gold rush in the 1850s, I don't think that they were worried about building computers. So in order for people to want money, you have to make it kind of hard to get. In other words, if everybody had money, nobody would want money, and now we've got a problem because money's not money. And so the fact is that because money's kind of hard to get, people are willing to do things in order to get it so that they can get the things that they want. And so if you have money, you can pay other people, you can trade that money for something else and get what you want. But if money was just kind of distributed indiscriminately, we end up with a situation that we call inflation. Basically, if everybody can get money, then nobody has to work to get the money, and now we've got a problem. And so how do we make sure that the money is difficult to get? And the answer is basically we have to use something else to determine how much money there is. And the solution in the history of our country, at least for the first 150 years, is to use something else. And the something else that they used is gold. So basically, the bank would hold gold bars in its vault. It would lock them up in there, and then it would only issue or print money based on how many gold bars it had. We call that the gold standard. And eventually they went to silver, or silver and gold, and in 1964, after 1964, the government made the decision to go to what is called fiat currency, which basically means that now there's not gold locked up for every dollar that we use. It's literally just we're hoping that the government doesn't print money because they know that would be bad for all of us. So during the California gold rush, you could literally go and dig up gold, and that's like digging up money from the ground. And so a ton of people ran out there because that's an easy way to get money. During the gold rush, gold miners were making about 6 times as much money as factory workers or farmers that lived in the East. And so it was a better way to get money than pretty much any other way that you could think about getting it. The problem is that the gold rush did kind of create a situation where gold was just easy to get for the miners. And so we kind of ended up with a situation where the gold miners themselves stopped taking money seriously because it was easy to get. And so the gold rush actually created some short-term money problems, not just in California, but all over the world. Because again, if you remember, the reason why money is valuable is because it's kind of hard to get. And the reason why we picked gold was because it was kind of rare, and the gold rush kind of made it easy to get, and that made problems. It also made problems for the gold miners themselves. They started using gold to pay for everything, and because they could just literally dig it up from the ground, they way overpaid for stuff. What that ended up with was making merchants, people that were willing to do business with the gold miners. They were the ones that really made the money, because the gold miners would just kind of give their gold for random stuff. They're like, listen, I don't care that I got to pay $500 for a loaf of bread. I can make money whenever I want. I can just go dig it up. And so the merchants ended up being the ones that really took advantage of this situation. Eventually, the gold ran out in California. 2 or 3 years, it started to be hard to find again. And so after the economies kind of adjusted to the amount of gold that was kind of thrown in there all at once, things settled down. But the other thing that this created was a lot of resentment among the gold miners. Eventually, they started to blame other people. They blamed immigrants who had come from Asia. They blamed native groups, or sometimes not even blamed them for their hardship, but just kind of took out their anger on those people. And so this is kind of another aspect to it, is they got used to living kind of like the easy life, and when that ended after a couple of years, rather than going after the merchants who had all the money at that point, they started taking out that frustration on other groups of people who had also moved, or in the case of the indigenous people, had lived there before the miners got there. And so that was kind of a different dynamic to the gold rush as well. So hopefully that helps you understand the gold rush, why people wanted to go there, what they were hoping to do, and whether it worked or not long term. So that's it for us today. Hope you have a good day.